Alrighty. Yep. Looks like we're okay. Looks like we're live. Hello everybody. Welcome. It is episode 214 of Time Out Tuesday. That is 214 weeks that I've been coming to you live at roughly this time, sometime in the early afternoon. My name is Mike from Millennium Martial Arts, and today, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that happened this week, but happens on a fairly regular basis, dozens of times a year, I suppose, or at least a couple dozen times a year, I would say to be fair. Very often, students come to us having already had some training, in many cases, existing training at another school, and they're looking to change. And sometimes it's for a variety of reasons why they might be changing from their school to ours, but very often, and I guess thematically, we hear a very similar story. And it's not about a particular other school. It seems to be, like I said, more generally thematic. Is that their child has been training at a school for several years in some cases, but they're beginning to get a sense that they're not really progressing or really learning anything of value there. And so they start exploring other options, and very often they come upon us through Google searches or word of mouth as being a traditional martial arts school. And very often, a lot of the students that I'm referring to are coming from, I guess, what I might call more modern day schools that are teaching in a non traditional sense. That can be defined in a lot of different ways. What I view as traditional teaching is teaching through repetition, teaching through tried and tested drills that have been passed down for, in some cases, hundreds of years, but also learning through the use of forms and repetition of memorizing these forms and performing these forms for the purpose of just getting better at those forms to train your body for muscle memory. And many modern schools don't do that kind of thing. But one of the things that happens when they bring their child to our school, and we have a little bit of a meet and greet, and very often I like to take them out on the floor with me and kind of have them show me what they know, then I can show them how we would do things, and sort of begin to have a little bit of a meeting of the minds, that what they learned will contribute to their movement in our direction, and that it wasn't just a total waste of time, but rather that they learn to develop a sense for the martial arts and a sense for repetition or something like that. But very quickly, in almost every case that I can recall, the first thing I notice about students from other schools is a lack of structure. And what I mean by structure is precision with which they place their feet, with how they hold their hands, the angles in which they attack things, and whether or not they even know that there should be a specific place for their hands and specific position for their feet. What I find very often is that schools take a shortcut. And the shortcut is, rather than really nitpick on lots and lots of little details, accept a great deal, cast a big wide net for what you accept. That way everybody walks out feeling that they're happy and achieving, and everyone's happy, and a lot of clapping and applause, but not a lot of criticism, because criticism is tough. Not everybody's able to accept criticism, and if you criticize people the amount that you typically need to criticize them when they're learning something like martial arts, some people just can't absorb it, can't take it, and they view it as a negative experience. And so if you're trying to just build a school and you don't really care about quality control, then you just let an awful lot of stuff slide past, and you promote a lot of people through the ranks. And what you get is maybe a lot of happy customers, but you're not going to get a lot of good quality when it comes to martial arts. We've taken a very different path on that. We believe that precision is one of the key elements of martial arts. In order to achieve precision, we need to be able to criticize our students, let them know what they need to work on. It's constructive criticism, of course, but without that, they're not going to know how to improve. And if they don't know how to improve, then how are they going to become more precise? And if they're not going to become more precise, the way that we test our students to promote them up in the ranks so that they understand that their proficiency is improving by virtue of the color belts that they're wearing, if we're not going to be doing that, then all we're really doing is just pushing them up and giving them new belts, giving them a false sense of security that they're learning the martial arts and they're getting better at them when in fact they probably really aren't. So we don't do that. We hold our students to a very high standard. We train them how to be able to be more proficient and more perfect in their techniques, always seeking perfection, always knowing that there's more room to grow. And then we grade them on tests based on that proficiency. Students that don't meet that proficiency may not pass this particular test and they will not move on to the next belt. That might be a hard pill to swallow for some students, but it's not like we just fail them on the test and run away. We explain to them what they need to do, how they need to achieve it, and we help them carve out a path towards success. We want them to succeed in this. We're not looking to fail students. However, we're also not looking to give them a false sense of security and just create a belt factory where we wind up with a bunch of black belts that really could not hold their own in self-defense, could not really teach anybody the proficiency and perfection in the art that they've got earned a black belt in. We don't want that. What we want is our students to earn high ranks up to and including black belt and beyond. But when they do pass this knowledge on, that they pass it on accurately and with a high degree of quality control. So we instill that quality control in our brand new students from ages 3 and up. And we make sure that we continue that quality control all the way through their ranks, all the way up until they're instructors. A lot of schools just don't seem to be doing that. And they're willing to accept a lot of, I guess I would call weak technique or unstructured performance because it's much easier. If you want to speak to me about that, if you have friends that are at a school and are wondering that same thing, I'd be happy to chat with you and give you a very honest assessment of what I'm seeing with a student or with if you have a friend or family that's a little concerned. You know, I've got no problem helping people to make sure that they're making a good value decision. I think training in martial arts is important. And if you're going to do it, I would like people to be trained well so that they're confident that what they're learning would help them if they ever really needed it. So with that said, let's aim for some high quality control. Hope everybody's having a nice February break today and for the rest of this week. And I will see everybody at the dojo. Peace.